something a little bit lighter. You know what I mean? We're going to go into, that's right, our boy's back. It's Pedro Pascal week, baby, for the next 2 weeks. And we're going to get into the first part of Pedro Pascal. And I'm talking about, of course, The Mandalorian. Episode 1, Season 3. Mandalorian, Grogu, they are back in action, in full effect here. And after the premiere of Season 3 of The Mandalorian, my friend, I want to know, what did you think about it?
I thought pretty good welcome back. You know, it was cool to see finally Mando making a reappearance with also Grogu. Awesome to see those two characters back, and also cool to see other old familiar faces as well throughout the episode. Right, I think that was pretty awesome just to kick it off. Kind of a soft, little boot. And I forgot like the Mandalorian episodes were pretty short.
Sometimes,
they can get pretty short. Like I think last week's episode was it 30? I thought it was like 26 minutes or something like that.
Seemed like it. It was like 20. It was like 32 minutes or something. It was pretty short though. Hella short for sure.
It was definitely short, and I think it was probably because we've been spoiled already with the previous shows we've been doing. Like, obviously one of them being The Last of Us, and the other one being House of Dragons. Both of them kind of being very long episodes per week, usually 40 minutes minimum. Andor, another
Stranger
one.
Things.
See, like that's why I'm saying like it's kind of a shocker, but it's cool. I like how they're kind of like having that whole reintroduction with everybody. The one thing I will say is because that they kind of like with the whole recap, they kind of needed to. If I can remember, I don't think they really told you too much about how Baby Grogu came back to the Mandalorian, because I feel like they kind of had to like do something a little bit more with that, because I remember I seen that one with my pops for the second time and was asking me like how did Baby Grogu get back to the Mandalorian? Didn't he just go with Luke? And I had to tell him like, no, it's like the Book of Boba Fett kind of explains that, which I told him like I didn't really like how they portrayed it that way. I feel like they should, like I said back even in the Book of Boba Fett, they should have waited off all that development and save it for season 3. That's like kind of like the one negative nitpick, but that goes off of Book of Boba Fett. But as Mandalorian, as its own season, knowing that what happens, being all caught up, that was pretty cool. I like the dogfights in space. That was one of my favorite ones I've seen throughout this episode.
Attack of the Clone vibes, bro.
Straight up. And I liked how you can see his stealth tactics within his airship, him hiding between the rocks, darting in, taking him out one by one, and they're like, what the fuck? And it's cool to see the N1 fighter being that way, because that's kind of what they were. But if I can remember in the Phantom Menace, they were kind of like that. They were very fast, and they were very in and out. We only get to see like a little bit of that, but I remember in the games too, it was kind of like that. Like your fighter was pretty fast. And I think back in the Nintendo 64 days, I forgot what game it was, but you used an N1, and they were kind of like that. You were kind of fast.
What was it called? I can't remember, man.
Yeah, it was a very fun thing though. But as I could say overall, it's cool to see what they're gonna do now, because with IG, was it IG-88? Just to be sure, because I don't want to get mixed up with the
IG-11. He's based off of the design of IG-88.
IG-88. That's why I was like, IG-11. It's cool that we get to see that little a little throwback to him. My dad, like when I watched it, my dad, he was like, "Isn't that the guy from like way before?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was like the original robot that saved Baby Grogu and Mando, with him sacrificing
in the
himself.
season 1 finale.
Yeah,
Taika Waititi directed episode, by the way.
Yeah, and
he starred as IG-11.
Did he?
Yeah, he does the voice.
Shit. Oh damn, I didn't recognize he did that.
Yeah, man, Taika's been killing it in Star Wars, man.
He's been doing it, but I would say it's very cool. I really did enjoy this little reintroductory. I like how in the beginning I thought it was a flashback, like with how with the whole ceremony.
I loved that. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool to see all the Mandalorians all there for the ceremony, and how they kind of had to go becoming a Mandalorian, right? That child straight up there. The one thing I wonder though, because like when you put on the helmet, you kind of hear something like how Darth Vader put on his mask. That little that Winston, I'm like, where the fuck is that coming from? I'm like, that's not like a full embodied suit. That's just like him putting on a helmet. I'm like,
I don't think I noticed that effect in there.
Yeah, it was like kind of something like that, and I was like,
I missed it.
That was something I noticed. I was like, okay, well, it's maybe something for a dramatic effect, but it's
probably
cool seeing him, It was cool seeing that whole fight though with the giant lizard, them trying to fucking
Yeah, man.
battle him out, doing their old thing, trying to I didn't like
I felt like I
trying
was
to
watching the
like
Sci-Fi Channel for a second.
yeah, and then you see all of them trying to fight. Then Mando going in there saving the day with his N1 Tie Fighter with Baby
Yeah,
Grogu.
coming in like a straight up boss.
Yeah, yeah, but it
And
was
then
very
Grogu
cool
pokes his head up like, "Hey, what up, y'all?"
doing his own thing in his own little pilot, little seat there, co-pilot seat. So it was very cool. I think as an overall, I can't wait for next week's episode and see where they're gonna go from there because the way they ended it, Bo-Katan was pretty much just like, you know what, they didn't follow me. I didn't have a dark saber. They kind of like fell, away from my command because I wasn't the true leader of Mandalore, pretty much.
Yep. So
So
she said, "Fuck it, you do it, homie. I'm done.
yeah, that's pretty much what it
I'm
was.
outie."
And it's gonna be interesting to see where they're gonna go moving from this point on, because there's a lot that they still have to cover and where they're gonna go about with this season.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. This is just the initial setup right here. And getting into some of my overall thoughts as well, my friend. I definitely enjoyed this one, man. It didn't blow me away or anything like that. But I definitely enjoyed this episode quite a bit. And cannot wait to see where they're going to go with the big conflict with, him trying to get redeemed and all that stuff. Going back to the planet of Mandalore is going to be so freaking interesting and cool to see. I cannot wait, man. It's gonna be really cool. But yeah, I like how this was kind of like that adventure of the week kind of vibe that you got from a little bit of the season 1 episodes and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it was not necessarily a bad thing because I actually thought that kind of getting back into the swing of things. It's been a couple years. Kind of seeing what they've been up to and whatnot, and a couple interesting facts too going on with the timeline of the Mandalorian. I heard about. John Favreau was doing some interviews and stuff like that. Was he was actually talking about the fact that it's actually been 4 to 5 years since the beginning of this show here in season 1. It's actually been 2 years he trained with Luke on that planet, and it's been at least a few years since the beginning of this series. So it's been like 4, maybe 5 years since then. So Grogu and Mando both have gotten a little bit older. So time has definitely passed, and I was a little bit surprised at that actually because you couldn't necessarily tell for sure. But that kind of makes sense, seeing how Grogu got so much better at fighting and using his powers and everything like that in Book of Boba Fett going into this new season here. So that does actually kind of clear up things a little bit for me. But I thought that was kind of interesting to see that it's been like 4 or 5 years since the beginning of season 1. So I was like, damn, it's a lot of time's passed by already.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's why I think with that time gap, it would have been cool if we they could have saved that for this season, because like that's something I would have even known about with like that long of a gap in between.
Me neither. I thought it'd been like maybe like a year or two, maybe.
Yeah, at least that's what I thought. It was like it seemed like it was so close together, but I don't know. That's kind of like the rough edges that they had with them going off and continuing the story of the Mando and Baby Yoda into from Book of Boba
In Book
Fett.
of Boba Fett, yep. Yeah, that definitely was clunky, man, because I did hear some conversations about people that don't catch up with everything like that. We're like, oh shit, what? How's he back with him already? And they did
Yeah,
recap it real quick in the beginning, but not really too much. And I definitely think in the actual show, or at least in the recap, they should have went into well, like you originally said, they should have just not have put him in there to begin with, and they should have just saved that episode for the first episode of this season, and then introduced that whole idea, and then made what we saw in this episode, episode 2, or made
yeah,
it one long episode, and made it all one like hour long episode, like they kind of did in season 2 with Cobb Vanth. They kind of made that like a 45, 50-minute episode where they were fighting the crate dragon and everything like that. So I think they probably should have taken that approach instead and had just made it all one long episode premiere for the Mandalorian season 3, especially because it's been 2 years, man, 2 to almost 3 years since season 2 dropped. So I think they would have definitely had an advantage doing it that way. But oh well, what are you gonna do? But I definitely enjoyed the adventure of the week in this one, going back to Navarro, catching up with Grief Karga and everything like that, and seeing them reconnect and seeing how much it's changed and all that over the last several years. And that really showed the time passage right there, as well as seeing how Navarro is flourishing and changed up and everything like that. And we're going to get into all that real quick as we get into the recap portion of the episode and all that stuff. But yeah, man, just kind of getting into my overall thoughts. And like you said, with the scene in the beginning that we all thought was a flashback, absolutely love that scene. And it's kind of close to being my favorite scene of the episode, funny enough. It was just so cool and badass, and just felt like you were watching like some like cool like Dances with Wolves or something. I don't know. Just felt like you were watching like this really cool like epic like ceremony go down. Reminded me of kind of the beginning of Black Panther a little bit, kind of
Being a
something like
Black
that.
Panther.
So I
Yeah.
really like that whole thing with we will not challenge today. Like I like that whole vibe of that going on, and I like the swerve of them making you think it was a flashback in the beginning there. I thought that was kind of a little cool a swerve right there. They did on everybody, so that was pretty cool, man. And getting to see some space battles. I never get tired of seeing space battles in Star Wars. And yeah, man, but pretty much it for my overall thoughts. But yeah, man. So getting into some of this recap here. Let me see here. Gotta pull up this thing. Oops, clicked the wrong button again. Gotta pull this up. And let me see. All right. Oops. All right, there we go. All right, so gotta pull up these images here. And as I'm pulling these images up, man, in that overall thing, it was funny too. In the overall first flashback scene, or not flashback scene, but that overall ceremony scene, I like getting to see the armorer actually make a Mandalorian helmet. I thought that was freaking badass. How we got to see that actually go down right there.
Oh yeah, dude! Seeing that whole tradition going about, yeah, I thought that was a nice touch that they had with the whole background of pretty much like how they came about collecting the armor pieces and stuff. Because we didn't really see her
Exactly.
make too much of stuff besides like maybe a couple things for
When she
Mando,
made his
but
new Beskar armor in season 1, and
yeah,
then when she made his new signet as well. But we didn't see her make anything in season 2, so I thought that was pretty cool. How we
yeah,
finally got to see her make some more stuff.
yeah. It's like it was a nice touch that they had with the whole that like I guess that little part of the episode, which is pretty sweet to see. Pretty sweet to see.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure, man. Yeah, let me go ahead and throw that in here. All right, here we go.
but
Yeah, man. So starting off with the episode there, we're gonna highlight my girl, the armorer, right there, man. And I forgot the name of the actress, but I think she does such a great job with the voice acting and everything, and making her seem very like intimidating and very matter of fact. She ain't fucking around. And I like the whole presentation of her getting the helmet and everything. And at first, I was like, oh wait, if that's Din Djarin's helmet, maybe he got a different one when he got older or something. But as we see later on, we know that's a different kid, and we get to see the whole process go down. And it's funny because since the kid got interrupted when he was gonna say it, he actually didn't say, "I vow not to take my helmet off." So technically, he can kind of get away with that.
yeah,
Loophole.
until they redo it.
I know, huh? After
That's
the
true.
fact, so get your ass over here with the helmet on. But yeah,
We gotta
man, you
follow
get to
the
see
oath.
another foundling right there go down, and I like getting to see that whole like circle of life play out right there, where Din comes in to save the day, and he sees that going down, like probably like, oh man, crazy nostalgia vibes right there, and everything like that. And I love how you get to see him and Grogu approaching the armorer and everything, and she's like, "You took off your helmet, damn it!" And he's like, "Well, look, all right." Now, if I go to the mines of Moria on Mandalore, I can be redeemed, right? And Grogu's like, yep, I'm checking it all out, taking it all in. And she's like, well, yeah, but it got crystallized, bro. You can't go over there. He's like, well, how the hell did some guy get this shit then? Mandalorian language, buddy. And then she's like, oh shit, okay, all right. So he's like, well, if I get over there, if I bathe in the mines of Moria and I can prove it, I'm technically back in, according to Creed. So suck on that. No, I was playing. But then he's like,
Yeah.
take that. And she's like, well, this is the way. So I guess I got to let him do it. So that's pretty much the big quest for season 3 that's setting it up right there. And yeah, so that's pretty much setting up the big mission for Mando anyway. But we know there's going to be some twists and turns and some people that want to get in the way and prevent him from getting over there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. But yeah, man. So going on from there, let me see here. Make sure I don't mix up my stuff going on here. All right. So then going on from there, they end up going into hyperspace, heading over to Navarro, so that way he can go try to, as we see later, go try to retrieve IG-11's old body parts, so he can make him a new droid to have him a guy to take him over there to the planet of Mandalore. And I cannot wait to see Mandalore. That's gonna be fucking awesome. Can't wait to see
Yeah.
it.
It's
But
gonna look
yeah,
fucked up.
yeah.
It's gonna
It's gonna be
be
cool,
interesting
man.
to see because I can't recall if anybody's actually been back there throughout this whole time since like
Oh
the
hell nah, dude. We haven't been on Mandalore since Star Wars Rebels.
yeah, I was gonna say it's probably been like for the first time, even as like live action, to see something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
I
yeah, for
would say
sure.
that's the big stepping point for the Mandalorian and as a series.
I
So
love that, man. And other than Jedi's, the Mandalorians have always been my most like the thing I've been the most curious about over the years in Star Wars fandom overall. So I was so happy when they announced the show, and I love that's the number one aspect I love the most about this series. Is I know some people think they've been relying on maybe they relied on too many cameos last season and other things like that, pre-established lore, whatever. But for me personally, I think they've done a great job at expanding the Mandalorian culture and lore at the same time while bringing in some of those cameos and fan service to where it's not necessarily a detriment to the overall series, but I do think it's necessary to kind of tie in those knots and make this overall tied shared universe make it really feel and really make it feel consistent, unlike in the past when everything just felt like they were just doing shit willy nilly. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
really love the way that Favreau and Dave Filoni, the guys behind the scenes, have been able to craft this and really make it feel like a fully lived-in world, man. But then you get into that whole Attack of the Clones segment where he's trying to get away from the dudes and all that, and you get the whole fight going down and what, or that's later, sorry, but yeah, they're going through hyperspace actually, and that's when you get to see the space whales for the first time in live action as well, sort of, but not really. And those
hmm
come from Star Wars Rebels as well, from one of the more fillery type episodes where it's like an adventure of the week sort of thing, where Ezra of all people, who does tie into Ahsoka, season 1 coming up, that he was over there with Kanan and the whole Ghost crew trying to save these space whales and all that in this episode. And that also came back around in an episode of The Bad Batch. So it's funny how that keeps kind of coming up. It's funny. We've seen more space whales than Snoke at this point. That's kind of fucking weird, ain't it? Anyway, that's a topic
do
for another day.
question though, do you think Ezra might show up at the end of the season?
No, I don't
You
think
don't
we're going
think
to see
so?
him till Ahsoka. I think there's someone else that's going to show up.
Oh yeah.
And for me, that's Sabine.
Okay, I can see
Sabine
that.
Wren. I think she's definitely going to show up. Mandalorians, yo. And he's going to try to get all the Mandalorians together to probably have to go after Moff Gideon or go up against Bo-Katan. I think it's going to be Sabine Wren for sure. That's going to tie in the whole Ahsoka shared universe aspect to it and tee us up for Ahsoka.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be. It's cool to have like those little cameo appearances like that. But I feel like with like a lot of the cameo appearances, that's like you've seen a lot of that in Book of Boba Fett. Like you
For
see,
sure.
like that's heavily like a lot of cameo appearances because, man, that's you see like
Yeah.
you saw Ahsoka, Luke,
Yeah,
Mando,
Ahsoka,
Baby
Luke,
Yoda.
Mando, Grogu, the Armorer,
Oh yeah, the armor.
the one silly lady from Tatooine. Uh, who else? You
I'm
did
trying.
see one of the Hutts as well. You saw Black Chrysanthemum from the Star Wars comic books. So that was like 8 characters right there.
Yeah, and then there's Cad Bane already
Oh
there as
shit, Cad
well.
Bane.
Yeah,
I
and like
forgot about that.
I thought I'm like, okay, I would write him as like his own thing. I'm like, okay, so like he's not really like a cameo appearance from the Mandalorian, but they kind of had to have his, their own characters and
Yeah,
stuff like
the
that.
Cad Bane stuff I thought was very tied into the story. So I thought that if nothing else was in there, that definitely fit.
Yeah, but the other ones, I'm just like, I feel like we already talked about it before, but I felt like it was too much. I always felt it was too much with the
A
cameo appearances for
little
Book of
bit,
Boba Fett.
but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? But
Yeah.
once Grogu and all of them take the little nap and get out of hyperspace, they end up getting over to Navarro, and yeah, we're back at the good old Navarro, man. Good old Navarro, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think is the same planet Ezra was from.
I I gotta double check on that.
Yeah,
I
I'm,
gotta
saying, I'm
double
gonna
check
Google
on
that.
that.
I'm gonna Google that real quick. Navarro.
But
Star
Navarro looks completely different from what we've seen previously
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah, it's been
Completely
4 or 5
different.
years. He's cleaned it up. Grief Karga's over there cleaning up the scene and making sure everyone's good to go and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've seen that things have definitely changed for the better. It's like gentrification, but done right.
Yeah. It's like they have like got rid of like the bounty pretty much.
Oh, sorry. The planet that Ezra's from was Lothal. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. No
sorry.
worries.
I
No
was
worries.
mixing up stuff. But yeah, so we're back in Navarro. You got Mando and Grogu doing their thing, making their way through the town and whatnot. Checking out the sights and seeing how everything's changed over the years. How Grief Karga's cleaned up cleaned up the streets. You know what I mean? And then we get to see a quick shot of the good old buddy IG-11, and Mando's like, "Hey, you remember our old buddy?" And then Grogu's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that guy." He's like, "Yeah, what happened to him?"
And
And
heroic
then
posture. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then you get to run into my boy, Grief Karga, man. Carl Weathers in the flesh.
Carl
Reuniting
Weathers.
once
Oh.
again. You get a little shot of IG-11, a little bit in the background there. and they're meeting up for the first time in a while. You know, he's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? How you been, man? Been good, been good." So, hey, man, you know, we need a new marshal around here, bro. We need somebody to help us out, help us regulate stuff around here. And he's like, "Hey, what happened to Dune, bro?" And this is the first time, by the way, they've even addressed the character since the whole Gina Carano controversy, which we will not get into here because that's old news. I don't want to get into all that crap. But y'all know the deal. If you don't know the deal, go research it. But apparently, they were going to have a whole spin-off series with Cara Dune's character, New Rangers of the Republic or something, Rangers of the New Republic. She's on a new task force that she's actually talking about, that they were talking about leading, and there was actually going to be a whole another spin-off series that they canceled after they kicked her off the show, and yada, yada, yada. But I like how they were actually able to address the character here without showing any disrespect or anything bad for the character, and just said, you know, she's off on a mission for the New Republic, doing her thing, so we need a marshal, man. Why don't you go ahead? I can get you a pad right over there, get you a nice, sick setup for you and the kid, bro. You can come help me out, man. He's like, well, I still got a mission to do. I got some shit I got to handle first, homie. But I appreciate the offer. He's like, all right, man, all right. Whatever you say, brother, whatever you say. But what could I do for you while you're here, man? What are we going to get into? What are we going to do? And then you get some unexpected friends showing up because the droid comes in. He's like, hey, honey, we got visitors for you. And he's like, hey, not now, bro. Shut the fuck up. And he's like, come on, man. He's like, it's pirates. He's like, oh, shit. These fuckers are here. Who's here now? And then it's these weird-looking, pirate-looking, weird alien guys. And they're like, hey, let me in there so I can get me a drink. And it's a freaking elementary school and shit. It's like the same school that Grogu was in season 2.
Yeah.
and they're like, you can't drink in there, sir. It's a school. And Grief Karga pulls up with Mando, and Mando's over there posting up, doing his cool guy thing, doing his gunslinger thing. And then Grief Karga's like, hey, guys, what do you think you're doing? He's like, hey, man, this fucking droid won't let me come in here and get a drink, bro. And he's like, well, it's a school now. Come and have a drink in my office, bro. I'll explain everything. He's like, nah, bro. Pour me up a shot right here, bro. Fuck off. I want my drink right here. This my spot, son.
This used to be the old spot where all the bounty hunters would meet up.
That was that bar that we saw Mando go into when Grief Karga was trying to get him to take another job after saving Grogu. But he was like, nah, bro, I'm trying to get the fuck out of Dodge right now. So that whole bar has now turned into this school that we saw in season 2 last time when Grogu was over there stealing people's cookies. And now these pirates are trying to go in there and cause some trouble. And Grief Karga shows that he still got it because he shoots the guns out of their hands. And then Mando ends up shooting all his boys up real quick like he got a killing spree in Halo 2. And I was like, God damn, Mando. Bad motherfucker. Right. Don't forget, he may have a kid now, but he'll kill your ass in a second. And then they take care of the pirates and everything like that. And he's like, all right, man, well, you go ahead and do your thing, bro. I'll catch you later. All right, bro. Peace. I'll see you soon. You know, Grogu, he had to get himself some snacks, though, while he was there. You know, make himself dizzy in the chair a little bit. You know, it's the classic kids thing. You got to make yourself dizzy. I don't know what it is. Kids just like making themselves dizzy. But the Mandalorian and Grogu get back on the road. Din Djarin loads them up, hits the road once again, and they go over to another planet, which I don't think is Mandalore, but it's somewhere else. And they go to meet up with our girl, man, Bo-Katan Kryze, posted up chilling on her throne or whatever. And, you know, don't see any of the other Mandalorians hanging around, you know. Looks like she's just chilling there on her lonesome. Looking like she's all defeated and whatnot. Looking like somebody listening to that song, All By Myself. Look like you should be playing that in the background and shit. And then Mandalorian's like, yo, what up? What's going on here? And she's like, man, everybody left my ass, bro. They all left. They took off. You got the Darksaber, right? He's like, yep, got it right here, homie. And that was the first time they addressed that since season 2, because last time we checked in with him, he was barely learning how to swing that thing around. So it'll be interesting to see where he's gotten at in his training with the Darksaber by this point, which I would assume he's probably leveled up by now. That's how most of these things tend to go in science fiction, nerdy type stuff. So anyways, but Bo-Katan's like, yo, man, I don't know what you want to do, going to Mandalore and all that bullshit, bro. You can do what you want to do. I don't think it's been all crystallized, though. You know, we can still take our planet back, but no one wants to listen to me. You got the Darksaber. You rally cry these motherfuckers together and go try to make something happen. Ain't nobody going to listen to me, bro. So you go ahead and do your thing, you religious zealot. And I'm like, well, you're a religious zealot, too, talking about having a damn sword, making everyone listen to you. Same shit as the helmet. Same thing.
And now, like, their whole Mandalorians, they're just good, like she said, like, mercenaries now. That's all they pretty much are.
Yeah, they're just mercs.
Yeah, at that point, someone needs to get back in control of the Darksaber, like with Mando kind of getting back in charge, getting everybody together, unify everybody.
And from the trailers, looks like he's going to be doing that. So I can't wait to see it. I think that's when Sabine's going to come into his thing. But anyway, so Bo-Katan's kind of defeated. She's out of it. She's done. She's over it. Definitely a much different vibe than we got from her in that episode of season 2, which to me is still my favorite episode of the series, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Love
Yeah.
that episode. I was just rewatching both seasons leading up to this one, and I love that episode. I can't remember if it was I think it was episode 5 of season 2, but that was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, by the way. Absolutely killed it. Doing your father proud, doing your father justice. You even did better than your father on Solo. That's right. I said it. But I still
Damn.
like Solo. It's pretty fun, but it's just a little bit on that lower tier. But anyway, keeping focused here. But that's pretty much it for the big plot points of this first episode of The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 1 premiere. I love that freaking shot of Bo-Katan. Such a cool shot. I bet you're gonna get like some kind of collectible figure of that. I bet you anything.
Probably 100%.
Hell yeah! I want one of this too, right here.
With him.
I know I'm
With
fucking.
him getting the candy.
I love. He's like, I'm hungry.
Those are
Oh,
like
wait a
Skittles,
minute. Hold on,
Reese's
man.
Pieces.
Hold on, man. I got to vamp for a minute because I got to pull up an image here. I just totally fucked up. I forgot about the freaking greatest cameo in the last like 5 years in Star Wars, man.
Last 5 years. All right.
Yeah,
let's
bro.
see.
I forgot about the best freaking cameo of all time. No, I'm just kidding. Not all time. But it's freaking. It is one of the coolest cameos in a minute. I'm not even joking. Hold on, man. I gotta pull this shit up. Hold on, man. Y'all be.
Okay.
Hold on to your
Okay,
horses
what
out
is
there,
it?
audience. Hold on to your horses out there, man. I want you to take a guess right now. Take your guess right now. Who's the character gonna be? Because it's gonna be crazy, man. You'll
Is it
never
just
guess who.
Just a little short. Oh, you
You'll
said the
never
last 5
guess.
years?
Oh man, it's crazy stuff, man.
The only ones that I kind of thought that was like, I guess, kind of weird, but I haven't really seen the new movies, was those little midget furry creatures.
You got it, brother.
I got
you got it, brother.
Okay, that's like the one thing I was like, ooh, Al showed up. But yeah, those little midget creatures that came in. Where did they pop up in the movies?
Rise of Skywalker during this one scene where they gotta try to retrieve C-3PO's memory when he gets wiped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which never goes anywhere because essentially he gets his memory back 10 minutes after they wiped it, so you don't even get any emotional impact of even that moment, which to me was some fucking bullshit. But yeah, I almost completely skipped over this part, man. I was freaking going crazy over here, but I almost forgot that there was a whole sequence where they were trying to fix IG-11, no duh, because he was trying to take him as a guide over there before he went back to Bo-Katan's place. And then when they were doing that is when... And then, so Grief Karga takes him over there to talk to his boys so that way they could try to get this thing fixed. But, of course, not going to be able to due to the fact that his parts are all fucked up and he went full-on Terminator mode when they tried to fix him up.
Yeah, with
God
IG-11,
damn it.
right? When they were like,
Yeah, they're trying to fix him up, and then at first it didn't work at all. Mandalorian's like, "Come on, man, let me take a shot here," and then he's like, "All right, fuck." And then they're talking over here to my boys, Babu Frick, baby, Babu Frick and the gang, baby.
Oh my god.
Best Star Wars cameo ever. No, but freaking hilarious cameo I didn't see coming though. That was freaking hilarious. And then freaking Grief Karga's all translating like he said this, and he's like, "I got it, bro. I get it."
He's speaking like at least somewhere where I can
Broken
comprehend what
English.
he's saying. Yeah, that's
Should
pretty
be better than
much.
some of the customers I have to talk to. God damn it.
Yeah.
Spanish.
It's like no, not yet. I don't know any of that, which I could kind of see kind of be frustrating. But the thing is like I didn't realize this little guy was such a huge cameo.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't really see any of the new
I know,
stuff.
yeah. We gotta rectify that.
We gotta right.
We gotta rectify that. I'm telling you,
don't
that's gonna
know,
be a
man.
reaction on the channel. Rise of Skywalker, baby.
Dude.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
We're
We're gonna pour up some drinks, man, and we're gonna do it.
gonna see. Okay.
We'll pour you up some whiskey, boy. Get you some shots.
I'll probably need it from what I've been hearing. Hopefully I don't need
get you
too
some
much
shots. You're gonna have a blast, bro. You're gonna love the Palpatine and stuff, everything. You're gonna love it. But yeah, man, so that pretty much covers all the main stuff of The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. No IG-11. Now we got to figure out how he's going to rally all the Mandalorians together and redeem himself in the eyes of the Armorer and all that good jazz. But that's pretty much it for this episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1. That's going to be it, y'all. It's been a freaking... But yeah, man, it's Mandalorian. Make sure you drop your thoughts down below. Did you love this episode? Did you think it was a little bit of a filler episode? I personally can't see why you would think that, but I guess some people might think that. But anyway, drop your thoughts down below. We would love to see what y'all are thinking about the latest edition of The Mandalorian. Do you love it? Do you think it's better than Andor? Do you think Andor is much better than this show? We would love to hear your thoughts about it. Drop them down below, and we're going to catch you again on the flip side. This is another clip out from our long form podcast, the Phantom Frequency Show. We get into multiple topics, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you're clicking the videos and checking in on all that. We got a playlist for them. This is that would be our 25th episode. So make sure you check all 25 of them out. And we're going to catch you on the flip side, y'all. Make sure you stay tuned and don't sleep.
Peace.